no. When I saw the video on Sunday, my heart sank. That had never been a part of our institution or our culture. The chant, nor that type of behavior, those types of viewpoints were never a part of the house when I was in it.
So it's interesting that, if you're happy, Clap Your Hands was copywritten, in 1971, and all of a sudden just 3 or 4 years ago that this entered. Do you know how it entered, from whom, and why wasn't it stopped then?
I don't know. I am in contact with various alumni who are part of the investigation. I'm hearing that they're trying to narrow down the source of that chant.
The reason I ask is because in 1971, because this is done on If You're Happy and it, Clap Your Hands.
Sure.
You would think that if it would just entered 3 or 4 years ago, that it might be a more modern song that someone would pick up. From 1971, this seems like something that goes back a long time, not just from 2010, 11, 12.
Well, I think a lot of fraternity songs, not just SAE, but across the Greek system, a lot of their songs, the lyrics might be changed, but they're adapted for existing tunes. So I don't know that that's something that is really impactful.
Okay.
I wasn't surprised by the tune. It's just I think I was more shocked by the verbiage of it.
The 2 students who were expelled, do you think the punishment fits the crime?
That's a tough call. They're 19-year-old children, 19-year-old adults. They made a mistake. I am not going to excuse their mistake. It's not really for me to comment on whether the punishment is justified or if it's too severe. I don't know, but I do trust in the university's ability to make that decision based on their investigation. So I do hope that these fellows, at such a prime time in their life, just getting their life started, that they will overcome this and move forward, and that they're not treated too severely, as long as they accept the punishment and try to change their ways and their outlooks and their behavior.
Yeah. Well, they'd have to come to a very harsh realization of what they've done and to understand what they have done. I want to go through this because this is not the first time. I'm going to reel off a couple of times here. This is the first time SAE has been caught up in something like this, Jay. Just a few months ago, Clemson University, SAE threw a party where its members dressed as gang members. 2013, Washington University in St. Louis, the chapter there was suspended for an incident involving pledges who allegedly sang racial slurs to black students. SAE was also suspended in 2007 at the University of Memphis over the harassment of a member who had a black girlfriend. So I would ask you, does it have a race problem? It's obvious it has a race problem. What's going on? Why is there so much why are there so many racial issues when it comes to SAE?
So again, I don't know. I have been a part of the university or the fraternity since 1992, and I never experienced that type of racial hatred or ugliness. I originally pledged at Boston University, which was an extremely diverse chapter, and then I came back to the University of Oklahoma and was a founding member of that chapter that was going through restructuring, and we built a house based on diversity and cultural awareness and social responsibility. So if you look at the Greek system, I think every house has its own culture at every university, even within their own fraternities, their national organizations. So those universities that you're listing, they have an ugly culture that they were using while representing the national fraternity. I think that's deplorable.
Yeah.
The chapter that we started at the University of Oklahoma in 1993 and chartered in 1995 never had that culture.
Well, it does now, and here's what you have said, and I've got to run, but here's what you've said. You've said racism, elitism, hazing, these all seem to be more systemic than localized, and the culture needs to change. It needs to be overhauled comprehensively and not just swept under the rug. The Greek system as a whole, you think, has an issue, yes or no?
I think I don't know if it's an issue across the board, but it does exist.
Okay.
Just like it might exist in any other institution.
Okay, Jay.
And wherever it exists, it needs to be eradicated.
Jay Vinegar, thank you. Appreciate your